While Qantas counts the cost of its battle with the unions and political missiles continue to be fired around the fleet grounding, Virgin Australia is working overtime to capture a bigger chunk of the most lucrative part of the domestic market, business customers. And the gloves are off. At a business lunch today, CEO John Borghetti announced that the airline's business fares would be up to 30% cheaper than Qantas. I spoke with him earlier. John Borghetti, nice to have you on the programme.
Hi, Tiki. Good to be here.
Well, last financial year, Virgin Australia posted a loss. This year, two of your competitive airlines have been grounded, Qantas and Tiger. This has got to be your year, hasn't it?
Well, it's been a very difficult year, actually, because if you look at all the events that have happened since January with the floods and the ash cloud, the earthquake in Christchurch, it's been a very challenging year. But on the positive side, I think what I can say with a great deal of confidence is that the strategy on which we embarked, we are still pursuing. And in fact, not only have those events not distracted us, but we are marginally ahead of where I thought we would be in implementing that strategy, which is so important in ensuring that going forward, this company has got a very strong financial base.
And of course, it's all about the battle for market share, isn't it? Qantas is allegedly losing $20 million a day. How much do you reckon you're going to pick up from that?
Well, I don't know what Qantas is losing other than what's in the paper, but it isn't about market share for us. It is about market share of a particular segment of the market. What we are trying to do is change our revenue line so that it is less reliant on the leisure end, and to that end we are trying to increase the business component of our revenue from 10%, which it used to represent, to a level of 20%. Now, are we achieving that? Well, we set ourselves a period in which to reach that, and we are, I'd say, marginally ahead of where I thought we would be by this time.
You've said, of course, what I want is yield, and you mentioned your 20% target, which I think is for 2013. Pressure, of course, as a result of what Qantas has been up to, is on in that premium class now. Of your 46 aircraft, I believe you had, how many have you managed to convert over to business class cabins?
Well, we have 90 aeroplanes all up in our fleet, and you're right, just under 50 in terms of the domestic fleet. We set ourselves a program that said, look, by the middle of January, all of the fleet will be done, and we're right on track on that. In fact, as we implement the new cabins and roll them out on routes, we introduce new pricing structures and new cabins. I'll give you an example.
So from a timing point of view, though, are you going to be able to take advantage of this opportunity when the chips are down for Qantas?
Oh, absolutely. Today we announced that on the 18th of January, we will launch business class on Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane route, and that will be with the new interiors. And we also announced that the fare structure will be up to 30% less than the current business class fare. Now, that's very important because when you look at, for example, the Sydney-Melbourne route, that is the fourth busiest route in the world.
Alan Joyce, of course, will be very sensitive about that market. Do you think that is why he chose to ground the fleet over a weekend, so that it wouldn't impact his premium customers so much, his business customers?
Well, I don't know. That's something you'll have to ask Alan. All I know is that when it did happen, and as I was watching the news conference, I very quickly called my executive group together, and I can tell you that within a matter of a very short period of time, we had implemented plans. And by the way, may I add that some of those plans that we were implementing, such as obviously putting on extra capacity and so on, required certain regulatory approvals. And to that end, we've been obviously working with the government, and they've been incredibly helpful in helping us do that to keep Australia moving. I mean, things such as the curfew, for example, in Sydney, and other things that needed to be flexed in order for us to really move Australia. And we carried over 30,000 disrupted passengers in that very short period.
Big part of this battle for the premium market, of course, is the frequent flyer angle. You've been working very hard on that angle too.
Yes, we have. And you're absolutely right, Tiki. It's a critical element along with so many other things. And, you know, the alliance strategy that we embarked on with our key partners was critical in formulating a network that allowed us, and by the way, it's got over 400 destinations around the world.
But also you've actually now, you first of all, you're offering to match for Qantas customers the same level, you know, silver, gold, platinum status they are. And then more recently, you're offering now to double status credits. Presumably this is quite a costly exercise for you.
Well, not really. Look, a couple of things there. Firstly, the initiative to status match, to which you referred. We did that for a limited period, and we believe it is the right thing to do, to try and display to the the frequent flyer how good our product is.
What sort of market share do you hope in the premium market to get from that?
From that initiative alone, we didn't. I mean, I can tell you the amount of passengers that we status matched were in the thousands, and I don't mean single. I'm not talking about 1,000 or 2,000. I'm talking tens of thousands.
All right, John Borghetti, thank you very much for joining us.
Good to talk to you, Tiki. Thank you very much.